Well, I can't see the video feed on here, but I'm assuming that it's working. So yeah, let's get back to work. So one thing that's been kind of bothering me about the project so far is a little bug that kind of happens when I try to walk under this thing. So what happens is, you know what? I'll just show you what happens. It's kind of it's definitely a bit of a problem. Something that I should get fixed at some point. Oh, I just realized it went to my speakers. Here we go. Sorry, headphones are plugged in. It's probably feeding back like crazy. Yeah. So yesterday I did that. So today I intend on fixing this problem. So what's supposed to happen is the player is supposed to just walk underneath, but I think this ledge triggers the part of the script that causes him to try to jump up and grab onto this, and that's not something that I want to happen. I'm just gonna quickly try something. Oh, interesting. Do it from here. It's fine. When I go from here, it's not fine. I suspect that it's a raycast causing that. Well, I mean, yeah, I detected the part of the game that determines whether the player should grab onto a ledge or jump for a ledge is determined by a raycast. So yeah, it's definitely a raycast, but the specifics of the conditions behind why that raycast is like triggering in the first place are a mystery right now. So I intend on fixing that. I apologize if that's a little bit boring, but that's what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, here he is. I'm just gonna move over here. Then I gotta grab the spawn point and also move it over there. Just so I can debug it a bit more easily. Okay, let's open up the player. In case of the first time you're seeing this, the way I have the player's logic set up is that there's like a bunch of different states that the player can be in, depending on the situation. Most of the time, the player is in normal state, which is like just regular movement, walking around and stuff. Water state activates when the player is in water. This is when the swimming animation activates and the controls change for swimming. Normal state, basically just running around. You can jump. Jumping will put you in jump state, which will eventually lead into airborne state. And then if you touch the ground, it'll go back to normal state. So by separating into states, I can keep things. I can keep my code more organized, so that I can have. So everything here is only activated when the player is on the ground and the player has control of the player. If I was to combine all these into one script, it would be thousands upon thousands upon thousands of lines of code. So yeah, I don't want to do that. I only want to. It's mostly for my sake. It's just to make it easier to iterate. Even then, it's still getting a little bit cluttered, and I should technically clean this up a little bit. But we're just gonna deal with it today. So I suspect that check if should jump should jump for a ledge. I suspect that this condition is being triggered. What? Okay, here it is. Player is grounded. Player. So the player's on the ground, and I think this is just improving upon whether. I don't think this is necessary. Ground check raycast. Get collision normal. Oh, okay. So this is like checking to see if the player is on like a relatively level surface. This is if the player is inputting height above a certain amount. And this is checking if the raycast is colliding, and if the raycast is it's like on a somewhat level surface. Yeah, a lot of conditions for this, but I'm probably gonna have to add an additional condition for this. That's what I think. That's what I think. It could also just be that the raycast check is in the wrong spot. Oh, but yeah, definitely gonna have to add another condition. I think I have a raycast that checks if the player is like walking into a wall. So let's probably use that. Could probably use that. The reason I do somewhat level as opposed to completely level is because I want there to be a little bit of leeway. Can't always expect the player to be on a perfectly flat surface. But I think this will probably help. One thing that kind of bothered me is that the player would jump for the ledge over here, but not like over here where he technically should. So I'm just gonna first I'm gonna check and see if the original problem is solved. I'm hoping that it is. I suspect it probably is. Yep, problem solved. Problem is solved with this one. Okay, so something is not right. Something is not working right over there. First thing to check is see if it's just the position of the raycast. I think, because I think that might be it. There's a whole bunch of, and there's so many overlapping colliders here that are kind of confusing me, but unfortunately they're all needed, so I can't just start deleting them. Yeah, that's kind of comes with the territory of making a 3D game. You got to use a lot of raycast. At least I think you do. But yeah, jump check. Nope. Jump for ledge. I think so. I think it's in the right spot actually. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to check all of these variables, see if I figured it or not. Check and make sure this is actually hitting something. It should. The raycast is clearly in the right spot. No, it's not. Hmm. Okay. Something is clearly going on here. So it isn't colliding with this one. What if I move it forward just a little bit? It's 0.1 units. Sure hope that fixes it. Not, I'm gonna be very upset. Won't be that upset, but definitely bother me. Okay, it doesn't work. Uh, okay, let's visualize. Let's activate visualization and see if that helps. Can't even see it. Can I see if I have it enabled? Maybe I should just have it enabled instead of force updating it. Is this even the right one? Jump for ledge check. Actually, I should attach this to the player instead of the normal state. Hold on a second. Okay. This helps. Oh yeah, I have to actually assign them. How stupid of me. For ledge check. Oh, right. I have to actually assign it. Oh, I never exported this one. Whoops. Build. Jump. Quick jump is just the name that I gave to a an action where the player like hops up above a like a knee-high obstacle. Just kind of an arbitrary name. I should probably not use that name actually. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. So what's going on is this is technically too high, but the raycast is colliding with the bottom of this part of the mesh. That is something that shouldn't happen, I think. Because you can't jump and touch the middle of the mesh, right? It doesn't make any sense. So that makes me wonder how it's happening. Or like how it's still technically triggering. Because this normal, or this check over here, or not this one. I'm in the wrong. I'm in completely the wrong spot. Dang it. Where is it? Where is it? Here. Because I thought this was supposed to check to see if the vector of the part of the mesh face that the raycast hit is like facing up by a certain amount, but apparently it's not working, or it's not doing what I expect. Apparently, it's not doing what I expect. So I have to investigate what's going on. I'm going to do that like this. If the jump for ledge check is colliding, I don't need this because it's enabled. If the jump check is colliding, print a normal of the collision. Because I'm comparing the normal angle to up, and if the angle towards up in radians is less than like 0.1, then well, yeah, it's supposed to check to see if it's less than 0.1, the angle. And apparently it is. So I want to see what that angle is exactly. The angle of the angle that of the normal that it's colliding with is 0, 1, 0, which is up. X, Y, 0, Y is up. Yeah, so apparently when you collide with the bottom, the inside of a collider, it's counts as like, I feel like it shouldn't work that way. Yeah, I really feel like it shouldn't do that. Maybe it's because it's a concave polygon shape. Maybe if I use convex shapes, that'll solve the problem. Man, I wasn't expecting this of all things to be the problem, but apparently that's it. I was expecting to have to use to like be careful if I'm using concave or convex shapes for this, but apparently I do. I hate that, but that's just the way it is. What the heck? Why are there so many of them? Why is it? What? No, 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 no. It should be like 3 pieces maximum. It should be 3 pieces, like one for here, and one for there. Why is it? Why did it generate 32 pieces? It's so dumb. Oh, it's because the bot. Of course. Yeah, it's because I removed the bottom of this mesh. Of course. Of course it would do that. I guess cutting the bottoms off of these was actually a bad idea. I wasn't expecting that to actually be the case. Like this is completely, this feels completely out of left field for me. But yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna manually assign some box colliders because I did not want to have to go back into Blender and make all these pieces again. Just to make the piece just to make it solid. So I was wanting to save triangles by cutting off the bottom. Technically, I should enable backface coloring on these. Technically, I should. I just haven't done it yet. It's an easy thing to switch in the shader. So yeah, I guess that this deleted face messed with the generation for the for the um for the concave convex. I always mix those up, concave and convex. I guess it messed up with the convex mesh generation. So I can't use this. And the reason I can't use this is because then I can't walk through the archway here. So I have to make a group of multiple colliders. Okay. This one will be a box. Put it over here. Turn this magnet snap thing on. No lie, I never would have expected this to happen. At the very least, I didn't think that I didn't think that concave colliders worked that way. This will also be a box shape. Put it up here. Let's move it up. So in theory, this should behave exactly as I expect. Hold on, I have to... I have to check and see if it's actually doing what I want to do. Oh, actually, let's see if it's actually fixed the problem. Yep. What's the problem? So one thing that I kind of want is I think that the player should be able to jump up and grab onto at least this part and this part. Because, hold on, you know, with the player closer. It looks like it's in reach, right? The player isn't... Because you saw in the jumping animation when it was being triggered that his hands were like all the way up here. So I should increase the height that the player can jump. And I do that by raising this up a little bit and then shake this down. Okay. That's a nice round number. All right. I'm gonna check my stream. Yep, it works. I was a little bit worried that my stream wasn't working properly because it was showing a black screen before, but it seems to work now. Okay, so this is true. And yet it's not, and yet the player isn't jumping. What the heck? What's going on? Okay. Oh, sorry, that was my FileZilla. That was me. It's not your computer. It's my computer. Yeah. Also, about yesterday's stream, I wasn't feeling very good, so that's why I wasn't very talkative. I had a bit of a headache, but I kind of forced myself to do it anyways. But yeah, stuff happens. Just power through it. The breakcast is colliding with this, yet the player isn't jumping, which means that one of these other conditions aren't being met because it's I'm using end here. Player's got to be grounded, but I guess I might as well check to see if the player is grounded. I'm expecting a column of trues to appear. Yes. We have a column of trues, exactly like I wanted. Exactly as I expect. That's clearly not the problem. Let's check this one. This one I'm 99% sure is going to be true. It's basically checking to see if the surface that the player is standing on is level. Yeah, it's true. So it's not that one. Let's check the movement vector. So this basically, so movement input is a vector that contains the, it contains like the movement direction that the player is like inputting. So like if I press W on the keyboard, it's gonna take the forward direction of the camera into account and use the forward direction of the camera as the forward for the movement input, and it's also gonna take left and right and down. So I'm just gonna see if that is if the length of that vector is greater than 0.9, then it'll be true. So it's gonna be false now, true, false. Okay. That's not the problem. Let's try jump for ledge check. Oh, I didn't do this one. I didn't do this one. Player.wallCheckRaycast.is colliding. Ah, the wall check. That should be true. I feel like it should be true. It'll be true when the player is facing a wall, or at least it should. And it's not true. There's the culprit. The wall check. The very thing that solved the original problem caused this problem. The player isn't detecting that he's walking into a wall. So yeah, wall check is just a raycast that points forward where the player is, and if it touches a wall, then what it's supposed to do is it's got a wide variety of uses. It's used for this, but it's also used to like cut the player's animation speed in half, so that if the player isn't like running at full speed into the wall, it's kind of like walking into it. And it's a multi-use thing. Clearly there's something wrong with it because it's not detecting this. I know that's not the layer because I'm pretty sure that the wall check raycast wall detection it's not enabled. Okay. Oh, maybe I have to. Will that fix it? I think it might. You might be wondering, why not just enable the wall check raycast? Uh-oh. So as I was saying, why not just enable the wall check raycast? Well, the reason I don't want to do that is because, well, I mean, it'll work, and it realistically it probably won't cause any problems, but when it's enabled, it updates the raycast data every single frame, even when I'm not using it, and I would rather only update this raycast when I want to use it. So I disable it, and then I use this line, force raycast update, to update it. Sometimes it's good to use force raycast update even in situations where it is enabled, because I might be moving something around during the frame, and then I want to check to see if after I've done that, it's still colliding. I actually use this in the stair step check. Like I will force a raycast update multiple times on the same raycast in the same frame. Here it is. So I'm pretty sure that ground check rate, no, stepping check. Yeah. So I check for, it's kind of hard to explain this logic, but do snap, whether or not the player is snapping to the ground. Yeah, this is going to take like a couple minutes to explain. I don't really want to do it. But the general gist of that is I want to disable snapping if the player, if the player is like walking upstairs. Because if you have snapping on, you want the player to walk upstairs. After you walk up the stair, the player's just going to snap back onto the ground. He's not going to walk up. So if snapping is on and the player's snapping, yeah. You know what? I don't want to. I really don't want to explain it because I'll have to. Because I kind of, I'll be honest, I forget how it works, and I'll have to figure it out so I can explain it. I don't want. I don't feel like doing it. I just don't. I don't feel like it. Yeah. So while I was testing that just now, we encountered another problem. The player jumps when he's standing here, and when he's facing this. I'll demonstrate it. Even though there's a ceiling in the way. You know what that means? It means I need to check for the ceiling. And also the player's not jumping high enough. That should be easy to fix. I'll fix this first. It's not jumping high enough. Just do 2 meters. Let's make the player a beast who can jump 2 meters high. Huh. Oh, there we go. Okay, so back to the problem at hand. I'm pretty sure that I need to add like a ceiling check. Shouldn't be hard, but it's tedious, so it's another raycast, man. Another raycast that I gotta put in. Okay, let's put it like right at the top of the... Where's the collider? Eh. That's probably as good a spot as any. Yeah, 2 meters. 2 meters up. And then cast to probably least as high as up as this other raycast here. Oops. Yeah, it's probably good. Collide with just bodies, I think. Huh. I didn't know this existed. Huh. Yeah, interesting. And I will have to make a reference to it, and you know what? I'm not going to make a node path. I'm just going to do that. You'll ceiling check. Exactly what I did before. Oh. And we got to add another condition. I always forget what... I'm typing in the dark right now, and I always forget which of the number keys is which symbol. It's weird because this has it's a backlit keyboard with LEDs in it, but the symbols on the number keys are printed on, so I can't see them. Okay, clear. Oh, right. And I want to make sure that it's not colliding with the ceiling. Right? Don't want to don't want to phase through the ceiling. So I think this should work. So the player should jump over here. But not over here. Okay. Alright, it works. Okay. Well, I think that bug is, that glitch or bug or whatever you want to call it, been solved. What's the difference between a glitch and a bug? They this, because I feel like there's a difference, or maybe they're the same thing, just like synonyms. I've always thought of a glitch as being a design error, and a bug as being like a programming error. But sometimes there's overlap, and there's not really necessarily a distinction between those. I also kind of want to expand upon. So I only have like 13 minutes left before I'm gonna quit the stream. So I want to try and do one last thing before I quit. I want to add a little bit more functionality to these pressure plates. So what happens right now is the player steps on the pressure plate, the camera, it activates whatever, and then the camera, no, it's not the pressure plate. What am I saying? The pressure plate is just the trigger. It's not the pressure plate at all. It's this. short cutscene. I want to expand upon this. So what happens right now is when the short cutscene triggers, it snaps the camera to this, and then teleports it back, and then reactivates the player movement and control. So what happens is it takes control away from the player and hijacks the camera and teleports it to a specific spot for a few seconds, and then it gives the player control back and reactivates the dynamic camera. But I don't want it to activate right away. I want there to be like a bit of a delay. So let's try and do that. Change it to initial delay. So what should happen is as soon as this is triggered, it should take control away from the player, and then it should move after the, and then it should wait a second, then it should start the cutscene, and then while the cutscene is playing, it's not really a cutscene. It's more like the camera is just looking at a specific spot. That's why I call it short cutscene. Then it waits for the duration, and then when it's done, it re-enables the player camera and player movement. I feel like I need a little bit more because I don't want the camera to move over here, to move to the spot right away, but I also don't want the player to be able to move the camera. So I'm gonna try cinematic mode, cinematic value. Oh, what happened? The screen went black. Oh, okay. So you probably didn't see that, but so my computer monitor has this glitch where sometimes if I enter full screen in an application, it like turns off, and then it's fine if I turn it back on. So I accidentally pressed F11 there, and I scared myself. Yeah, I thought I messed my computer up, but you know, stream's still going, right? Yep, stream is still active. Okay. So, as I was saying, I want to disable player control of camera. Wait for like a second, probably just a second. Move the camera to the new position. And this is like just in case the player is in first person mode. Because I don't want the, so there's like this player mesh that's attached to the camera that activates in third person mode where you can see the player's arms if you're like holding something. I want to turn that off if the player is like in a cutscene. Make sure the actual player is visible. Then wait for like the duration of cutscene and the cutscene, yada yada. But yeah, there's also like this thing where I can, it's additional functionality where if a certain flag in the save data is active, then or it'll only like do the cutscene if a certain flag is like active or inactive. It's like let's say there's a cutscene. Let's imagine there's like a cutscene that I only want to activate the first time you enter an area. This will like do that. Or at least it helps me implement that functionality. Oh right, I have to actually move the spawn point into here. Yeah, technically I could jump in here, but I don't want to do that right now. I want to test the game. I don't want to play it right now. Well, that didn't work quite like I wanted it to work. Okay. So there'll be another way for me to prevent the player from moving the camera, like some sort of thing that I've already implemented. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna quickly check. Looks like the functionality isn't there, so I have to add it in. And again, freezing it right away might be a little bit jarring, so maybe I'll have it slow to a stop. Okay, let's see if this works. Sort of. It's a little bit jarring still. Okay, maybe freeze is not a good idea. You know what? I'll do this next stream. And just to make sure I don't forget, I'm going to put a bunch of errors there so that the next time I open the project, I'll see the red lines and then I'll go right back here and remember what I was doing. Because, yeah, I'm probably going to forget if I don't do that. And, yeah. Oh, yeah, quickly before I end this stream, I think I mentioned this at the end of last stream too, but I'm going camping next week, so I'm going to be taking the whole week. So I'm not going to have access to my computer for a whole week, so no streaming for a whole week starting on, I think, Sunday, possibly Saturday. I'm definitely leaving on Sunday, but I might be too busy to stream tomorrow on Saturday because, you know, packing and stuff. Yeah, so goodbye. See you um possibly in like 8 days. Maybe tomorrow. It depends on how busy I am. But yeah, for sure not going to be streaming at all during the week from at least from Sunday to I think Sunday again. It's either Sunday to Saturday or Sunday to Sunday. But yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, goodbye. See you later. Hope to see you next